Yes, I control how I feel. That is my job. That's nobody else's job. So I don't know why I thought if they saw that it was too much on me or I couldn't handle something that they would just stop. Or if they saw I had too much going on at home with the kids or, if they just saw, then maybe they would stop. And then when they didn't stop, I was confused. But it dawned on me, I am the only one that is responsible for how I feel. The time is now to boldly step forward, love with intensity, and embark on the journey to create the best version of yourself. Let's breach these barriers together. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. I hope you all had a beautiful week. I know I did. Guess there were some challenges, but we got this. We got this. Every day is a new opportunity. So I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Before we get into it, if y'all are new here or if y'all haven't subscribed yet, what y'all waiting for? I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on because you don't want to miss anything that's coming in the future. We are getting right together, y'all. So last week we spoke a little bit about getting more control of our mental space with some tips and tricks that I really want you guys to put into habit. And don't worry if you missed it, I will link that video below. But there was one specific trick or hack that I really wanted us to dive a little bit more into because I don't want it to go overlooked. And that one was feeding your mind positivity. This is a little bit different, but it's still connected with this, protecting your peace at all costs. So it's like under the same umbrella. It goes along with feeding your mind positivity, giving your mind the positive feelings. So protecting your peace at all costs is so important because it's not until we're too drained or we've given out our peace, we've given out pieces of our peace out to different people without us being intentional about it. So intentionally not protecting our peace, we're giving it away. What do I mean by that? I mean, if we're allowing outside forces or other people to dictate what our energy goes to. Now, you may not think they're dictating it, but if you're not setting a clear boundary or setting yourself up for not ingesting all that there is, and I mean like social media, if you're not setting up the accounts you follow or the gossip that you're hearing on the radio or whatever you feed your mind, wherever that is, and you're not intentional about what it is that you're allowing into your mental space, that's you giving away your peace. So, how do we get intentional about protecting our peace? First things first, we need to get off of autopilot and we need to take note of how we feel when certain things or certain people interact with us. So, taking notice of when you vibrate higher rather than when you vibrate lower and really getting intentional with what was it that made me feel that way. We have these feelings sometimes, we may not know where they're coming from. Because some things that we allow into our mind and our mental space may not show up until later when we're drained. And we have to think back, okay, well, what drained me? I want you to get intentional about the social media accounts you follow. Like when you go to bed, are you thinking about the gossip or are you thinking about the horrible things that are happening in the world? You need to just be mindful of how much you can personally take. So really being mindful about the social media accounts you follow because in the moment, it may feel okay. It may feel like it's not really doing anything to your mental space or your well-being. But if you're ingesting all of the gossip and all the negative things, you are becoming that person. You will become that person whether you know it or not, whether you're feeling it in the moment as the gradual change is happening. So I would say not, unfollow every single thing because when you're on a diet, you don't have to just go cold turkey. Like we're human. You can ingest a little bit, but try to limit how much it is. Each person, we know how much we could take. How much is a healthy amount, a healthy portion. So I'm not going to say only follow 3 gossip accounts or, do this, whatever. What's good for me is not good for everybody else. And then on the flip side of that, while you're unfollowing those accounts, go and follow some positive accounts. Follow some accounts that can be productive or motivate you to do things outside of social media or think differently Don't let social media dictate the person that you are. You tell social media who you are. We also need to take note of what's making us vibrate higher. These good feelings that's making our spirits just glow and grow and we're feeling like we're our best selves. What are those things? And really pinpointing what they are and do more of it or get more of it. Journaling is one for me. When I listen to my uplifting music, it doesn't even have to be the praise music, but when I just get a good song that makes me feel good, doing that, listening to that more often. Exercise is one for me. And in the moment, exercising, like starting out, it's not making me vibrate higher. But I know the effects while I'm working out and afterwards, I feel so accomplished. So that feeling that I have afterwards, I always want that feeling. Resting, that's something I don't get much of because my kids are not sleeping through the night yet, not all of them yet. But I recognize that really dictates the person that I'll be that day. I have to put in a little bit more effort when I don't have sleep. So that won't dictate who I am because I'm intentional about who I'll be that day. But when your girl is tired, it's a struggle. I be trying. I be accomplishing, but I be trying. It's a struggle. So rest, knowing when you need a break and taking the break. I'm guilty of this. I will know I need a break and I won't take one until I'm like almost at my wit's end with everything. Before you get to that point, making sure you take a break, just noticing what will make you feel better, what will make you vibrate higher, and pinpointing those things that make you vibrate lower. Another thing that makes me vibrate lower actually is alcohol, because I have a very stressful life, which we all do. Who doesn't? Not realizing yes, I feel good in the moment, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm starting that cycle all over. Till it was to a point where I'm like, I just got to make it to tonight, because when I have my drink, I'll feel all better and all the day's stress or worry will be washed off. Really, in reality, I'm not dealing with it because I'm just looking for that space and moment where I'll be able to just let it all go rather than learning from it like I am, or building on what I need to for a certain stressful situation. I can't learn from it or grow from it if I'm just essentially in my brain flushing it down the toilet each night. Like this, it can't happen like that. So acknowledging that alcohol was something that made me vibrate lower in the long run. Like the next day, I was vibrating high. It was a fake high. But once that went down, it left me groggy in the morning, more tired. It took me longer to get my mental space together. And it kind of made things worse. I had to prep myself more than I would if I didn't have a drink the night before. Prep myself for the challenges of the day, which I already knew were going to come. So it was just a vicious cycle that I'm like, enough is enough. For me, it was really eye-opening when I started to pinpoint these things. I have these feelings all day, but I never really sat and pinpoint and wrote down, recorded what makes me feel good, what makes me vibrate higher, and what makes me feel bad, what makes me go lower. And I had to get off of autopilot. I was on autopilot, just trying to get through my day and trying to check off all the boxes and not really checking in with me. I'm not this machine that finished tasks for everyone else. I realized I had to pour into myself. And to do that, I have to be fully present and fully authentically me. And being on autopilot, I was not me at all. I was doing things just because I had to do it. I was allowing other people to dictate my life, essentially, because I wasn't being intentional with my time. If somebody asked me to do something, I was doing it. But if I knew I needed to do something, I wasn't doing it. So I really had to unlearn and relearn how to become me again. I had to go back to that child that was super, super happy and super productive and a go-getter mindset and all these crazy dreams. And I had to realize how to get back to her. Not even just get back to her, but to get back to her feelings, but amp it up, become my best self. Because when I was a little girl, I didn't have all these tools and I didn't have all these lessons. I feel like putting all of these things together and being intentional about using it for the greater good, my good and the good of the people on this earth, honey, We're going to do some good stuff now. And I just need y'all to get on board with that. So get off of autopilot and take control of the steering wheel again, because your life is yours to live, honey. And it is so beautiful knowing that each morning you wake up is a new opportunity. Yes, it'll have its challenges, but it's a new opportunity to be the person that you were called to be, to take a step forward to that person. So I'm just really excited to share that aha moment with y'all, because I was like, I really am on autopilot. And I can't imagine being on autopilot any longer and wasting my life away. So here we are, becoming our best selves, guys. I had to throw it in there. So the second part to protecting your peace at all costs is super important, and this is creating boundaries with people, which seems to be the hardest part. At least for me, it is. I'm the type of person that loves to help people out with their problems. I'm a listening ear. I'm that friend, family member that you can always call on, and I'm there to listen, give out my advice. I used to want to be a psychologist. It got to a point where I felt like I was taking on other people's problems, and it became a problem for me to tell them that I couldn't listen to it anymore because it was affecting how I felt, my mental space. When I couldn't create those boundaries, it started to show up in my personal life, really showing up in my health, in my mental state. Like, it affected everything around me. I'm not sure why I didn't want to create those boundaries. I'm sure it was some type of fear of not being loved anymore, or they'll think less of me, or they won't want to be my friend no more, or they'll cut me off. Like all these things that seem crazy right now. But I was that person, and I was just scared to set those boundaries. Boundaries were scary. I love them now, but they were scary. And something about saying, I just don't have the capacity to listen to it right now. I have to protect my health because I have a lot going on in my life right now. That doesn't mean I love you any less, but I really just don't have the capacity to ingest anything else this week or this month, or, don't just say, I can't listen to you. Bye. There's something so empowering about that. And it was just like, yes, I control how I feel. That is my job. That's nobody else's job. So I don't know why I thought if they saw that it was too much on me, or I couldn't handle something, that they would just stop. Or if they saw I had too much going on at home with the kids, or, if they just saw, then maybe they would stop. And then when they didn't stop, I was confused. But it dawned on me, I am the only one that is responsible for how I feel. How can I put that on somebody else? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me right now, but assuming that people would do something that you would do, because if I saw somebody was going through stuff, I'm like, I don't even want to add to their plate, but people are not you. Everyone is different. So you need to set clear boundaries and say what you need, because nobody will look out for you the way you will look out for you, because nobody knows how you feel or thinks the way you think. Boundaries is not just recommended or important, it's required. It should be taught in school. Like, I don't know how people do life without setting clear boundaries with people. It creates so much stress, so much anxiety. You don't get much done. If you're the type of person that is born, knowing how to tell people no. I was brought up in an environment to where if you told people no, it was seen as a bad thing. So I was just brought up that way, and I'm a very sensitive person. So I always wanted people to like me. And I felt like that was my ticket to getting people to like me, if I just said yes, or, always there for people. So it was my kind spirit mixed in with wanting to fit in, and a whole bunch of other problems, I'm sure. But setting those boundaries is crucial. Even if you feel like you do have the capacity, and I just want y'all to really think about this. It's some people, not your friends, but maybe some other people that you constantly give advice to, listen to the same problems, same type of problems, and they don't take your advice. You're going to have to cut off access. You're not always available. You got to stop being available, because these people are draining your energy that you need to be putting elsewhere. It's not that you don't love them, but you need to have a conversation like, hey, I see we talk about this a lot, and I've poured my heart out to you, giving you all my advice. You've probably gotten so invested yourself, and that takes away from your mental space. You just blocked off some of the space that you could be using to become your best self and do what you're supposed to be doing on this earth. It's not your job to fix people. I'm talking to myself clearly. I had to realize myself that I was, in a sense, trying to be their God by saving them. I have to tell them, I am not your God. I am not your savior. I can't save you. I will tell them I will pray for you, but I cannot sit here and worry with you. I imagine when I go to pray, when I tell people I'm going to pray for them, I actually pray for them. Y'all better stop saying y'all going to pray for somebody and don't actually take the time to pray for them now. So when I say I'm going to pray for you, and I visualize, like when I'm done praying, that I put the suitcase right at God's feet and I walk away. I can't carry it with me anymore. It's not good for my mental health. So me knowing that I did something about it and then I could let it go, it makes me feel better. Because if it's a situation we keep talking about, I can't help you and I can't be here to listen. But I can pray for you, and I will pray and I will leave it there, and I can't be involved. So if y'all know some people like that, I just want y'all to protect your peace at all costs. It doesn't mean you got to stop talking to them, but you need to set clear boundaries and not just assume that they know because you complained about it. You need to set boundaries and say, I cannot talk about this issue with you anymore. And if they don't respect your boundaries, you got to cut people off. So I really hope y'all took a lot from this today. These are things that have truly helped me and liberated me. Boundaries. They are required, not recommended. They are required. And boundaries are not just set for a certain group of people. There are no people that are excluded from your boundaries. Like your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, they are not excluded from your boundaries because you just love them so much. Your children are not excluded from your boundaries because you just love them so much. Your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, like the people that are closest to you, they all need to respect your boundaries. And if they can't, you need to make some adjustments. Have a conversation, make some adjustments because boundaries are to protect you. No one is going to protect you like you're going to protect you. And you teach people how to treat you. If you need to teach some people how to relearn how to treat you, then you need to do that and have a conversation. But y'all will feel so much better once you establish those boundaries. And I'm so happy for y'all to take one step closer to becoming your best self. So if y'all are afraid to set those boundaries, take the first step to setting the boundaries, feel free to send this to that person you need to set a boundary with. Because they may also need to set a boundary or two with you or somebody else. We all need to get in agreement with each other in our connections and our relationships. So let's use this video as a Kickstarter for the conversation of boundaries. You can even do it like this. You send out the video and then later in the day, you're like, hey, I listened to Bree's video. She was talking about boundaries. Did he get a chance to listen? Yeah, okay. So is there anything that you wanted to set a boundary on or anything in our relationship that we should set better boundaries on? Just talk openly. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing, like a brutal type of thing. Like, we're not going to do this. We can ease into it, talk openly, and be our best selves. Who needs that extra stress? We protect ourselves. We protect our peace at all costs. And I hope this week you protect your peace and create those healthy boundaries with people. And until next time, be sure to share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.